What if the future of the Lakers dynasty hinges not on towering talents or blockbuster trades, but on timing the quiet, invisible deadlines that flicker beneath the surface, unseen but world-shaking? What if today, this very deadline for every team and player option across the league could unravel or ignite the next chapter of purple and gold history? Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw true meets purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a second of this drama. Now, let's dive deep into the chaos swirling just beneath the headline, the ticking clock of contract decisions, the undercurrents of salary caps, and the fragile relationships that bind this Lakers squad together as they stare down the abyss of a potential breakup. Today is no ordinary day. It's the absolute final cutoff for player and team options across the NBA, which means we've seen stars like LeBron James, James Harden, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Julius Randle all facing their choices to accept, decline, or renegotiate contract moves that ripple across the fabric of the league. Julius Randle, for instance, has locked in a fresh deal that reshapes his own journey. But for the Lakers, things haven't been so straightforward. LeBron James has smartly opted into his player option, giving them an anchor of certainty. But Dorian Finney-Smith? He chose to opt out, essentially walking away from what was laid before him, leaving the Lakers scrambling to piece together a payroll puzzle that's rapidly locking them into constraints and corners. Losing Finney-Smith isn't just losing a player. It's losing a crucial front-court cog, a bridge between the team's current grit and the future they envision with. Luka Doncic, a friendship freshly minted but already vital. They traded real assets to get Finney-Smith in the first place, underscoring how much they believed in his role both on the court and in the locker room. To lose him now, so early in forming that bond, would feel like watching a promising relationship frayed before it truly blossomed. But here's where the Lakers' complex balancing act comes into play. Should Finney-Smith walk? This reality might open a tantalizing but risky pathway. Right now, the Lakers sit about $19.7 million below the first salary apron, the financial line that separates flexible teams from those hemorrhaging luxury tax dollars. That gap could let them squeeze under this infamously tight apron if they're willing to forgo filling every roster spot immediately and bargain hard within their exceptions, specifically the full mid-level exception and possibly the biannual exception, which together approach just under $19.5 million. This frugal magic trick could open doors to new faces like Nice Claxton from the free agent graveyard, or more realistically for us, Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Drew Jones-Sharpe, two young players who might quietly become the Lakers' underdog answers to this looming void. Let's talk about that duo, because here's where the stakes pivot from the immediate to the strategic future. Drew Jones-Sharpe, who recently had his qualifying offer pulled by the Brooklyn Nets, is now an unrestricted free agent, meaning the Nets have no say if Sharpe chooses to walk. Sharpe is only 23, young enough to ride alongside Luka Doncic's prime for the next 5 to 10 years. The Lakers desperately need size and defensive presence at center, a role Sharpe could potentially embrace as either backup or an eventual starter. What does Sharpe bring? Athleticism that defies his size, a respectable lob threat which his game hints at improving, and a rebounding acumen that's quietly elite, averaging around 7 boards in under 20 minutes per game last season, extrapolating to a staggering 13 rebounds per 36 minutes. That's top-tier rim protection potential. Plus, he's a finisher around the rim with a physicality that fits the bruising demands of the paint alongside Doncic's finesse. And the sweetener? The Lakers can offer him a 2-year, $10.5 million contract. Under the biannual exception, enough to hopefully pry him away from Brooklyn, who cannot match any rival offer. Pair that up with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the dynamic swingman who can guard point of attack and shoot the lights out, and suddenly you have a duo that, on paper, could temper the sting of losing Finney-Smith. Alexander-Walker, 26, shoots over 38% from three-point range for 3 consecutive seasons. converts catch-and-shoot opportunities with efficient volume, and boasts a career 42.6% clip from the corner, an arc that Lakers shooters dream of. Unlike some inconsistent shooters on the current roster, he brings a reliable, high-volume threat from deep, backed by an evolving off-the-dribble game that adds scoring versatility. Defensively, he fills a glaring hole the Lakers have struggled with, defending the ball handler relentlessly in pick-and-roll situations in the chaos of playoff pressure, something even Jordan Goodwin has faltered at during crunch moments. Alexander Walker could be that lockdown perimeter glue guy the Lakers have craved. The catch? To sign him, the Lakers would likely have to hand him the full mid-level exception around $14.1 million next season, probably structured as a 1-2-year deal with a player option rather than the full 4-year max he could earn. That puts pressure on the Lakers' cap, and given their current payroll and the juicy new contract signed by Julius Randle in Minneapolis, it's borderline impossible to keep Finney-Smith and add Alexander Walker without diving deep into the tax apron water the Lakers seem so desperate to avoid. There's a bittersweet tension here. Finney-Smith, at 32, has been the glue, the unfailing teammate embraced by LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reeves alike, a steadfast presence in the locker room and out on the court. Alexander Walker and Sharpe? Younger, fresher, with upside, absolutely, but missing that veteran camaraderie, that brotherhood that the Lakers so desperately need for Luka Doncic to thrive. Could they build a new culture around these younger pieces? Possibly. Would it cost the chemistry that's been painstakingly fostered this far? Almost certainly. Sharpe's athleticism and rebound prowess complement Luka's style, and Alexander Walker's sharpshooting locks down wing minutes while attempting to halt the athletic guards who have made the postseason so brutal. It's a tempting alternative, but would it truly be an upgrade or a harsh downgrade sandwich in disguise? And remember, the NBA landscape shapes their choices to Brooklyn's rebuilding, so they're unlikely to throw big money at Alexander Walker, making the Lakers the prime suitor, but with competition from other contenders lurking in the wings. The Lakers have to act swiftly. If they smell Finney-Smith slipping away, they must pivot fast to the backup plan, whether that's this duo or another shipment of hopes and dreams destined for the purple and gold. Delay means losing out not just on talent, but on time itself. So, where does this leave us? The Lakers stand precariously at the edge of a financial and roster cliff. Squeezing under the first apron means delicate maneuvering, star negotiations, risk-laden promises, and gut-wrenching decisions between loyalty and progress. If Finney-Smith stays, the rotation remains steady but tight on cap space. If he walks, they unlock breathing room but dive headfirst into the uncertainties of youth and unproven chemistry. It's a moment that feels both like a crossroads and a reckoning, a test of whether the front office can outthink the clock, outmaneuver the salary cap, and outlast the shadow of doubt cast by every heartbreaking Lakers near miss of the past decade. As a lifelong Lakers fan, having lived through every swooping high and gutting low, every championship parade and cruel playoff exit, I can't help but feel the weight of this moment. It's no longer just about who's on the roster or what numbers flash on a contract sheet. It's about the soul and identity of this team as they chase not just another ring, but a lasting legacy. So, I ask you, looking at this precarious puzzle of money, loyalty, youth, and veteran presence, is this the start of a new empire rising from the ashes, or the beginning of our unraveling piece by precious piece? Drop your take in the comments. I'll be reading every one. Listen up, Lakers Nation. This is the moment when your soul screams louder than the scoreboard, when every heartbeat in purple and gold can feel the tremors beneath the surface, because the stakes aren't just about contracts, cap sheets, or highlight reels. This is about legacies, about what we owe to those who wore the iconic jersey before us, and what we demand from those who wear it now. LeBron James, man, standing at this crossroads again, the ageless king with decades of brilliance tattooed on his resume. Yes, but also the looming question every Laker fan whispers late at night. How much more can or will he shoulder? This is a guy who brought championships, who carried a franchise from desperate rebuilding into title contention, who rewrote what it means to be a leader on and off the court. Yet here we are, in 2024, staring into a future where LeBron's choices ripple harder than ever. His optimism this season was a stabilizer, the lifeline that gave hope. But what happens if the pieces around him crumble because the money can't stretch or the chemistry unravels? And worse, what if this team asks LeBron to do more than a man his age should bear? Every Lakers fan knows the drills. This ain't theory. It's lived experience. From Magic and Kareem weaving Showtime miracles that sold out arenas and lit up our souls, to Kobe Bryant's relentless hunger that fueled a decade of dominance, down to that incandescent 2020 bubble run that stitched together a broken brotherhood. The Lakers have always demanded their stars transcend mere greatness. They become legends. But legends need partners in this dance, wings to soar with, not anchors to drag down. Anthony Davis, the enigmatic enigma himself, navigates the fate of this fragile empire just as delicately. The brow's health, those flashes of brilliance tempered by nightmare injuries. He's a mountain this team climbs, a half carry that sometimes feels like a full load, especially with the spotlight shifting more to the fresh faces and the unanswered questions. His next contract, his next move, will dictate whether the Lakers stay contenders or fall back into familiar purgatories of sub.500 seasons and fan frustration. Imagine AD as the linchpin, the yin to LeBron's yang, the defensive titan and offensive maestro whose body needs to hold up long, enough for young talents like Drew Sharpe and Alexander Walker to fully bloom. Can the front office keep working the delicate ballet of enabling AD and LeBron without suffocating under the weight of cap hell that swallowed teams whole before? Now, let's throw in the intangible Bronny, James, the prodigy stepping into a world where every basket he scores echoes with expectation. If we truly believe Brooklyn's pulls and financial hazards push rookies our way, what does this mean? For Bronny's arrival on the biggest stage, is he the ultimate heir to the throne, destined to add a new chapter to the Lakers saga, or another arcade-style Lakers son lost in the swirling storm of pressure and mismanagement? Anthony Davis mentoring Bronny? Austin Reeves carving out his rightful place among Titans? These are the threads that will weave or unravel the tapestry of Lakers lineage. And speaking of the front office, beneath all the drama lurks the continued tension we don't always hear from the sidelines, but feel deep in our gut. Jeannie Buss remains at the helm, the queen of purple and gold chess. Yet rumors swirl a billionaire disruptor, someone with deep pockets and an insatiable appetite for not just ownership but dominance, might be circling like a vulture. Would a new power broker in the mix break the pattern of short-term gambles and restless rebuilds, or accelerate the chaos, bulldozing the cultural pillars the Buss family painstakingly built? When distortions like this hit, history warns us to brace for shockwaves. The Lakers of the 80s weren't just a team. They were a cultural revolution where Showtime wasn't basketball. It was spectacle, a masterclass in joy and swagger that made legends like Magic Johnson transcend sport. Then there was the 2000s dynasty, Shaq and Kobe, the fiery tandem that won 3 straight, fueled by a volatile blend of madness and genius that still haunts the annals of NBA history. The 2010 revenge streak, where Kobe resurrected the Lakers, sold through sheer will, fighting through betrayals and heartbreaks to deliver final silences to the Celtics, reminding the league the Lakers always rise. Then, the 2020 bubble, a magical pause in the chaos where the Lakers reclaimed their throne under extraordinary circumstances. A reminder that destiny is never given. It is seized in moments of bravery and boldness. But after that triumphant roar, the long silence, the injury-plagued seasons, the failed trades, the blown playoff runs pain that's etched itself permanently into fan hearts. Each lost opportunity feels like fresh salt on wounds still tender. And if the financial and roster decisions today fracture this fragile core, we might be looking at not just a lost season, but a decade squandered. Think about what this all means. Against the backdrop of the Western Conference melting pot of powerhouses, the Golden State Warriors still clutching the embers of their dynasty, where Steph Curry orchestrating chaos and Klay Thompson supplying lethal spells are watching, calculating, waiting to pounce should the Lakers wobble. Denver Thunder rising like a storm on the horizon. Phoenix Suns always lurking as the dark horse with Kevin Durant's craftiness. And of course, the Clips, capturing the desperate hopes of LA rivals to outshine purple and gold. Each franchise is a reminder that this season's financial choices echo as strategic moves on a chessboard where rookies, shooters, and beasts clash. What if the Lakers, starved for cap space, lose the chance to acquire the secondary pieces that turn playoff contenders into champions? What if the youth gamble doesn't pay off, just like the countless times this city hoped for new saviors, only to be let down? This is the knife's edge of Lakers fandom heart, hope, and history bleeding together in a perfect storm of anxiety and anticipation. Picture the streets around Crypto.com Arena simmering with debate can Drew Sharps. Potential block shots and box outs fill the void left by Finney-Smith's veteran grit. Will Alexander Walker's shooting provide the knockout punch that got so painfully missed last playoff run? Or will they fizzle into the long list of almost but not quite Lakers new blood that left fans questioning and cursing? Now imagine if those young guns thrive. If this duo blossoms into a new form of championship chemistry, a fusion of scrappy defense, sharpshooting, and raw hustle that fuels the Braun-led engine. A new legacy forged not from the old guard, but a fearless young core built for the modern NBA's grind. It's a tantalizing possibility, perhaps even a necessity, given the unforgiving cap landscape. But what if the gamble kills the current team's fragile rhythm and fractures the locker room spirit? What if it starves the Lakers of meaningful leadership during the crucible of the playoffs when every moment demands trust, experience, and unbreakable bonds? That possibility is terrifying because the Lakers have never been a team that won. On talent alone, they won in spite of pain by forging unshakable brotherhoods. What would Magic say? Would Kobe approve? Would even an aging Kareem watch from the rafters and weep at a team that lost its way in the search for the next big thing? And here's the ultimate soul-crushing what if the front office makes a bold move, signing these young talents, but in doing so alienates veterans like AD, or even LeBron. What if this is the moment where the Lakers' legendary star power fractures, where instead of building a bridge from past glorious kings to an inevitable future dynasty, they unleash a slow-motion collapse? No purple and gold fan wants to admit it, but we've lived through too many cycles of hope and heartbreak to pretend the road ahead is anything less than perilous. So as the day unfolds, contracts lock in or slip away, and the Lakers weigh each move against the ghosts of their past and the promise of their future. One thing is crystal clear: this deadline is more than a date on a calendar. It's a crucible that will test the mettle of everyone from the towering figures in the locker room to the big-picture architects upstairs. It's the moment we find out if the Lakers can still be a team built for now, for tomorrow, and for forever, or if we're staring down the slow unraveling of a dynasty that once meant everything to an entire city and beyond. As a Laker till the day I die, here's what I see coming. This isn't just a roster decision. It's a crossroads of identity, heart, and future glory or collapse. Whether this team becomes the scrappy, inspired underdog that surprises everyone, or the cautionary tale etched into history, depends on the moves made in these next frantic hours. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your rawest take below. Every true believer in purple and gold, do you trust this front office to thread the needle? Can these young players fill the gargantuan void? Or is this deadline the moment our empire starts to crumble, piece by precious piece? This is our story live raw and unfolding right before our eyes. Don't look away now.